Okay, welcome back. Now this is the first video, from the textbook. The textbook is broken up into different sections. It's kind of strange. The very first section is about the common functions of Microsoft Office as a whole, not getting into Microsoft Excel at all. And anyway, their chapters are called workshops. So this is workshop 1 for the module for common functions. Now there's going to be the next section, the next 12, 13 sections are all in Microsoft Excel. So there's going to be 2 chapter 1s or workshop 1s. I know it's a little weird. So the way it normally works is I don't use PowerPoint to do a slide presentation. I mainly just end up talking to you and kind of following along in the book. So it really kind of helps to actually physically have the book in your hand while you're watching the videos. So for example, the first thing I usually talk about at the beginning of a chapter is I go over the chapter objectives. I'm just going to read them off the page, and so I kind of want you to kind of follow along. So on page 3, it talks about the chapter objectives is understanding Office applications and accounts, because you can have a Microsoft account. Now, we're not going to do that, but we'll talk about it at least. Start Office programs and manipulate Windows. Yes, this is kind of baby steps. We're kind of making the assumption that you know how to operate a mouse and a keyboard, but that's about it. I mean, we're going to take you from ground zero on, how to click on icons and things of that nature. So if you're already a computer guru, just kind of roll your eyes and go, oh God. But stay with me. Okay. The next one talks about use the Office ribbon, contextual tools, and other menus. So yep, we're going to do that. Manage files. Yes, we're going to do that. Managing files inside Microsoft Office. Getting help. Printing and sharing files. We're not going to do too much of the sharing thing because it'd be a little difficult to demo a scenario where you put something out on OneDrive or share it on a network share or something. In this type of environment, that'd be kind of tough to do. Using SkyDrive, no, we're not going to do that because, again, it'd be difficult to do. And the next one talks about using touch mode, gestures, and reading mode. Well, we're not going to do touch and gesture. If you have a handheld device or one of the new tablets that have touch, that's fantastic. But that'd be difficult. I mean, how could I have a demo? The camera's facing me. I go, well, touch here. I'm stabbing at the screen, and you can't see what I'm stabbing at. So we're not doing that either. Okay, so we made it through the objectives. So basically, just follow along in the book. The next thing they talk about is there's a common interface in Microsoft Office. Back in the day, in 2007 version of Office, they had menus just like this. A series of menus, right? Everyone's familiar with the menus. In 2007, that's what they had. When 2010 version came out, they switched over to using this thing called a ribbon, which is a big fat thing across the top. It takes up a little bit more room, because it's physically large, but it doesn't hide things from you. I mean, this one, you'd have to know, the only way you'd know to find something is just to kind of wander around. And if you're not a wandering kind of guy or gal, that might be a little tough. So some people love the ribbon, and of course some people hated it. Back when 2010 came out, there was, hue and cry on the internet about, oh, we hate the ribbon, we hate the ribbon. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, dude, get over it. All right, so Office Suite on page 4 consists of multiple components. Microsoft Word, which is primarily for doing, documents and letters and things of that nature. Microsoft Excel, which we're going to spend the entire rest of the course dealing with, is doing number crunching and electronic spreadsheet kind of things. PowerPoint is for doing presentations. We saw an example of PowerPoint when I did a slide presentation a couple of videos back. OneNote. It is possible you've never seen OneNote. OneNote is a pretty cool little application. It exists out there for quite some time. It's for note-taking. And you might think, well, that's pretty cool. I could use that for school and stuff. Yeah. I don't see a lot of people using it, but it is actually a halfway decent product for taking notes. It'll also allow you to take a page from a document and scribble on it. Cool stuff. Microsoft Outlook. Outlook, of course, is the email client. The next one on the list, most all versions of Office have those components I just mentioned. Word, PowerPoint, Excel, OneNote, and Outlook. Okay, those guys. Now, not all versions have some of the other pieces. Microsoft Access, which is their database application, is not available in all the flavors of Office. Publisher, which is really cool. Publisher is sort of like, if I wanted to do like a flyer for a garage sale, a 8.5 by 11 thing, some here, a lost puppy, something like that I was going to post. That's probably what I would use. It's perfect for doing desktop publishing kinds of things. Something that a larger scale than like a Word document would be useful for. So that's what the Publisher is. Link, Microsoft Link is a really weird one. I don't even have it up here on the list. It's for live communication. It's mostly a business product. It's like it combines like live messaging and Skype and calendars and tasks and to-do list all together. And again, if you're not in a corporate environment, you probably won't ever see Link. The next one is InfoPath. An InfoPath is designed for like filling out forms. And once again, if you're in a home environment, you're never going to use InfoPath and you're never going to use Link. So just, hey. Okay. On page 5, they talk about the way you can acquire Microsoft Office. There's essentially 3 ways. The traditional way is you buy a cardboard box, and inside the cardboard box comes with a DVD or a CD. Okay, that's the traditional way. And that works for a lot of people. Microsoft has recently decided that they wanted to go to a subscription model. And the subscription model is, instead of paying, and if you were to get the full meal deal, everything you see here, this would be very expensive. $300, $400, $500, depending on what flavor you get. Very expensive product. So they went to a thing called Office 365, which is a subscription model. So you pay, depending on what version, you could pay up to $100 a year, and you get everything. And you don't get install media. Basically, you get a code. You log into live.office.com and hit the button, and it lists all the machines that you have installed it on. You have, depending on what version you have. The version I have 5 installs available. I can install them on any devices that I have. Kind of works. Okay. I mentioned in the previous video that I was under the impression you could go to the university's DreamSpark and be able to download the version of Excel. It doesn't look like that's the case. I mean, I haven't checked with them again, but there are other techniques you can use in Office 365. There is a university edition. So, if you just Google it, go in here and say, Office 365 University. And you'll see that this thing is dirt cheap. It's $80, okay? So $80 for 4 years. Now, the one I was just talking about cost me about $100 a year. Well, this costs you essentially $20 a year. It's $80 you pay one time, and it's good for 4 years of work. Cool. So, that's dirt cheap. I'm sorry, that's good. That's a good stuff. And so, first is traditional. You either get a CD, a DVD, or an ISO file. The second one is a subscription model, which could be a 4-year subscription like I just described, or in my case, I get a 1-year subscription. And then the third one is you could have it built into your device. I bought one of the Surface, laptop doodad tablets when they first came out, and built into that was versions of Microsoft Office already built in. Kind of cool. So I didn't actually have to pay extra for it. There used to be a separate version for the Macintosh, and so the version numbers were always kind of off by a little bit. Like they had Office 2010, and then they had Office 2011, for the Mac, and Office 2013, and I don't think it was an Office 2014. But anyway, the point is always like one number off for the Mac version. Well, since the 365 came out, it's just 365. If you want to put it on a Mac, you want to put it on Android, you want to put it on a tablet, It's all one buy. You just buy one thing and it makes it all work. So it's kind of cool. On page 7, they talk about the start screen. Now, I have Windows 7 here, so I don't really have a start screen. I have just a traditional start menu. You know, I click on the little pearl, the globe, whatever the thing is called, the start button. I used to say start, now it doesn't. So in my case, this is some stuff that shows up. I have to go to all programs and click on Microsoft Office to see all my guys. Now, what it looks like on other machines is like this, and this is the example from Windows 8, came from the textbook, where you know, you start up, and so you either hit the start menu or do one of the swipe gestures, and you end up with all of your Microsoft Office stuff stuck over here. So if you wanted to do, you know, Microsoft Word, you'd click on the little goofy square icon. Again, I'm not going to demo that because I don't have Windows 8, 8.1, or 10 on my machine here to show it off. Okay, so they talk about different techniques you can use to get to, like, Microsoft Word as an example. Well, the first one is you click on the start menu. Well, I don't see one way is, okay, Microsoft Word just so happens to show up in my recently used list. Okay. The other thing you can go here is you can just start typing. You can just type Word, and then poof. So you can do it off on the keyboard. It's the same thing in Windows 8, 8.1, or 10. Slightly different. In 8, there you click on the little start menu thing, and then you can have all programs, and you can do a search. In Windows 10, there's a little blank spot about right here where I'm moving my cursor around, where you can actually type in stuff, and it'll go find it. So I typed the word Word. Okay, that's getting weird. And it automatically just found it. So how you actually get to the document to start Word is kind of sort of up to you. You could have a menu on the desktop. You could have a menu on the start bar. You could have a menu on, you know, just wherever you want to put these icons. It's kind of sort of up to you. And if it's your machine, obviously you have a choice. Oh, I'd like to put it on the desktop. Okay, great. If it's not your machine, like at the university, you may have to go fishing around a bit. You may have to just poke around. Where the heck is Microsoft Word? And, you know, just keep drilling around until you finally find the thing. Now, to tell you the truth, this is great when you're trying to open the document for the first time. However, if I already have a document, you know, there's already one out there, I usually just go, I'm a kind of a Windows Explorer kind of guy. And so I poke around here, and then, you know, if I want to find a doc file to double click on, well, then I just double click on the doc file. I don't think I actually have one around here. Oh, that sucks. Okay. Anyway, the point of the story is that yes, you can just double click on a file and presto changeo, that will launch whatever the Office product is. An XLS file will obviously launch Microsoft Excel. Okay. So when you start the application, so I'm going to start Microsoft Word here for the umpteenth gazillionth time. Okay, so here's my view of Office 2010 Microsoft Word. Now, their book talks a great deal about this application start. You know, the first screen you get to when you launch an Office application, and it does not look like this. So I'm going to fake it by showing you one of the little doodads. So this is kind of what they show. This is their start screen. The example they have is PowerPoint and Access, but that's not really relevant. The point is that it looks different. Typically, there's a listing off on the side of all the recent documents that you've done, and then probably the very first choice is a blank, you know, Excel document, Word document, PowerPoint presentation, or Access database. And so if you have the 2013 version, that's what you're going to see, which does match the book. It's just that it doesn't match what I have here. Okay, this is a good place to stop for the 15-minute mark. We'll continue this again in just a few.